You've been running round.
So earlier this year, I got to see a wonderful singer in concert. His name is Xavier Omär, and this guy's way ahead of his time. Like, the style of R&B that he's doing is really, really progressive. And he has a new EP out called Pink Lightning and a new song out called Runnin Round that I've kind of been abusing. And when we get into the chorus of Runnin Round, there is this absolutely juicy background harmony that I heard, and I just needed to just take some time, figure that out, as well as a lot of other background harmonies that are along. It's lit, it's fire. Anyway, this is going to be a VLOTH episode on Xavier Omär. VLOTH. VLOTH. Hello everyone, my name is Gerald, and you're still watching an episode of VLOTH. That is Vocal Lines of the Hour, and this is the place where I get to take singers, take their songs, and just break down a lot of the voice stuff that's happening. This time around, we're talking about background harmonies, and we're talking about Xavier Omär and his song Runnin Round that I'm really rocking on. You've been running round. And as is custom on this channel, before I get into the song that we're talking about today, I do want to talk about the singer's strengths and weaknesses. When we talk about a singer's strengths and weaknesses, we're really talking about the environment they have to work around in order to allow their voice to be at its freest and so that they can sing most comfortably. And not just that, the obstacles that they have to jump over in order to express themselves. Those obstacles are a singer's weaknesses, and the singer uses their strengths to maneuver around their weaknesses. So let's take some time to talk about Xavier Omär's strengths and weaknesses. Hit it! Xavier Omär has a very broad, weighty voice. It's worth noting how extremely powerful his belts are. The high sweet spots in his voice combined with his darker vowel choices make for an exhilarating experience when listening to him sing high. The darker timbre to his vowels also make his lighter falsetto moments all the more distinct. Now, because of the power in his upper register, Xavier Omär can easily be mistaken for a baritone. He often croons around in his lower register, but his upper belts are well girded, very dramatic, and extend past the comfort range of a baritone, and this makes it clear that Xavier Omär is at least a second tenor. Now, Xavier Omär has some flourishes and runs to his style, but for the most part, his voice lacks flexibility in his upper range. His vibrato becomes slower and sometimes non-existent for higher, longer notes. His falsetto is explored, but it's limited to small, hooty vowels, though he still uses this as a part of his overall aesthetic. This tells me that Xavier largely chests out his belts, which he gets away with because of his high tessitura. This is also indication that Xavier Omär is more of a second tenor. There's actually two lines that are interacting as a part of this background vocal that is happening in this very specific moment in time. Three if you count the chorus line. You've been running around.
Now you're playing both of us, yeah. You've been running around.
Alright, so let's fill in these notes. We're going to be using blue to still represent Xavier Omär's chest voice, but we're going to use green to represent a little bit more of the mix that he's using. Because when we get to the U, he's mixing a little bit of his head register in. You. So with these E's, I'm going to put green there. So we got you, and then he goes back into a little bit of a darker tone in his chest voice. You've been, and then he's back up to running around. And then he continues, you got to slow it down, etc. and so forth. So that's the first line that's happening. But when he recaps the third time, we get this little woo, we got this really nice line. Who are they, babe?
True, but you're lying now.
It's a beautiful line. When I heard it, I was like, absolutely, Xavier, sang your face off. We've got some head voice work that's going on, so we're gonna break out the red marker. We got, and he kind of trails off there, and then he goes back into his chest voice. Who are they running? And I'm also gonna circle these D flats because these D flats are really important, especially when it comes to the harmonic makeup of Runnin Round. At that particular point in time, we have a C sharp minor chord, C sharp, E, and G sharp. When we add this D sharp, we're getting into the upper extensions of the C sharp minor chord. We have the 1, we have the 3, we have the 5, and then we have not only the 7, but the 9. So we have a C sharp minor 9 that's going on. And it makes for So let's listen to that one more time.
You've been running around. True, but you're lying now.
And lastly, we have another line that's happening in octaves.
True, true, but you're lying now.
We're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna use the blue and the red marker at the same time. You have this line happening in two voices, his chest voice and his head voice. Well, he has one voice, but there's two voices that are happening at the same time. You get what I'm saying? So let's do this together. So listen very carefully.
True, true, but you're lying now.
Here is the amazing part. I love doing this when I make my own music, and we're gonna do it together. We're going to hear all of them at the same time, but see all of the lines happening at the same time. Hit it!
Now you're playing both of us, yeah. You've been running round. You need to slow it down. You've been running round. True, but you're lying now.
So that's just a small example of what happens in R&B nowadays. Xavier Omär, you're doing wonderful things with your voice, man. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how to do that yourself, I would tell you to subscribe to this channel, because this is the place where we think deeply so that we create art that changes the world. I encourage you to comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in another VLOTH episode or another episode of my channel, because this is where we are. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye everyone.